Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm finally posting this video, which I've had recorded for such an embarrassingly long time. I always meant to finish it up. It was actually from last summer, but with moving and everything, I just never got the chance to finish it. And I thought, what better time to do it than now, since we're back into this nice summer weather. And yeah, I have always wanted to do one of these videos since I started this channel. I love looking at other artists' sketchbooks and just watching their sketch videos and things like that. I think it's really inspiring, and it gives really great inspiration, and it gives you an idea of the things that you could fill your sketchbook in if you're ever stuck on what should I draw, and that happens to me a lot. But it's always daunting to share parts of your sketchbook because it's a place where I personally put down ideas that don't always turn out the way that I want. And I've come to terms with the fact that my sketchbook is not my portfolio, so I can be free with my ideas, and it's okay to make mistakes, which is, I think, such an important thing to remember. And it actually took me quite a bit of time to fill this particular sketchbook just because it's so pretty. It's one of the Arteza sketchbooks, and it actually came in a dual pack. I'll put all the information down in the description box if you guys want to check it out. I really enjoyed these sketchbooks. I think the slight warping from the pages and just how full the book is now, it really gives it a lot of character, like it's been used a lot. And it has been, because it was something that I took with me everywhere because it was so small. It was the perfect size. And I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I hope you guys like it. I sketch a lot of florals and portraits. Roses are one of my favorite flowers, but recently sunflowers and daisies have made it to the front. I wasn't sure what YouTube would do about certain body parts being shown, so I decided to cut those out of this video. I've always painted and sketched to human form, as I find it incredibly beautiful that we all come in so many different shapes, sizes, and colors, but for the purpose of this video, I'll leave those few sketches out. Hands were actually one of the first things I learned how to draw well. The sketch of this hand actually belongs to one of my friends who's a bit of a mechanic, and when he came back from working, his hand, the veins were protruding so much that I was like, hey, can I take a picture of your hand? Not to be weird, but I was just really inspired to draw them again. And so I was happy about that. He didn't find it weird at all. But with my sketchbook, I was really trying to be free in my sketches. I didn't want to overthink anything, and I wanted to use this book to really try out different ideas, whether that was with paint, watercolor, color pencils, or markers. I just wanted to try a few different things out and just see how it turned out. And I'm actually really happy that I took the step to do that, because now I look back on this sketchbook that's completely full, and it is the first sketchbook that I've ever finished, and I'm just really happy to see all of the different sketches that I came up with, all of the different styles that I was trying out, all of the illustrations that I was doing. And it's just really, really cool to see how far I've come from beginning this sketchbook to ending it. And I would really like to start my second sketchbook. This next one, I really want to be on top of it, sketching daily. That is my goal. I just want to try to keep inspiration alive, and I don't really want to force it. I kind of just want to see what ideas I can come up with, and if I can't think of something, or if I feel like I'm putting too much pressure on myself, I'll obviously take a break from it. But I would really like to try to implement that in my daily life, a daily sketch, trying to create something, however small, daily, just to keep the juices flowing and to keep that creativity alive, because I think that's really important. I think it's really easy to feel uninspired, and especially now, I feel like the days are blending together just because of everything that happened over the past year. And yeah, I'm just trying to set that goal for myself, and I think it's one that I'll be able to manage 100%. And like I said, if not, it's okay to take a couple of days off if I feel that I need to do that for myself. But it's also really good to set goals for yourself as well. I know this kind of seems like a bit of back and forth, but I just wanted to be known that there's not supposed to be pressure when it comes to this. Of course, as an artist, you should always be willing to learn, and there's always opportunity to grow and develop your skill, and you should challenge yourself. I think that's important to grow as an artist, but I think it's also important to remember that if this is something that you're passionate about and you're doing because it makes you happy, then don't try to turn it into work. Don't try to force it, you know? It's important to keep it light and keep it as something that just makes you happy. You want to do something and enjoy the process because you know that the end result is going to be completely worth it. And I just think that that's really important to keep in mind. A lot of these sketches are completely random or little monsters or creatures that I come up with, which I've actually been having a lot of fun coming up with recently, as I'm actually illustrating and writing my own children's book. So coming up with illustrations and different little creatures has just been a lot of fun. It's weird talking about because I haven't really told anyone or mentioned it, but it's been a goal of mine for a very, very long time, and I feel like I'm getting closer to it every day. So I'm really excited for that. There's a lot of different styles going on in this book. A few of the illustrations that I've drawn in here are completely original, and there are some that are, of course, like Kiki's Delivery Service and things from Studio Ghibli, or one of the Pokemon I did was Psyduck, because I was drawing some duck illustrations and I felt inspired because Psyduck is actually one of my favorite Pokemon. Just because he gets so many migraines, and I feel like we have that in common. I like to keep my drawings very original, but there are times when I'm watching a certain TV show or I see an awesome illustration that I want to see if I can redraw. It's almost like a challenge for myself, and I have done that a few times in this sketchbook. I definitely credit where the drawing is from. I think that's important. I would never want to knowingly take credit for another artist's work. There are scenes from Hilda, a TV show, and it's actually a graphic novel as well, that I just loved and I had to redraw just for me. And throughout most of my sketchbooks, there'll be pages like that. And what's great about it is you try out a new style, and from that style, I found that it becomes easier to create an entirely new style, all from inspiration and continuous practice. When you draw something over and over again, it's like it becomes muscle memory and new ideas sprout. I think that's the amazing thing about art. We start off from young, trying to draw what we see, characters on TV or things in our lives. And it's awesome when you get to see the progress you make by just continuously drawing and loving what you're doing. This is actually an illustration of Carrie from Sex and the City. And you probably can't tell because it's not supposed to look exactly like her. I was watching it and I really wanted to draw her in this certain scene that came up. I love her hair, her blonde, crazy curly hair so much. I use myself as a lot of references as well. I'm sure a lot of artists do that. Like if I can't find something, a certain hand or position, I'll do it myself and take a picture and use myself as the reference, which I find funny sometimes because my phone just has a bunch of random like hand motions or, you know, face angles and different things like that. This green dress illustration is actually a photo of me in a costume gown that I wore last Halloween when I was taking some photos. It had a very Victorian vibe to it and I absolutely loved it. I did not want to return the dress. If I could wear something like that every day or go to balls, I would absolutely love that. I think it was such a beautiful era. And it's something that I really, really do love. I love watching films and reading books that are period pieces. And here I just have a few other sketches of illustrations and character designs that I was working on. I'm trying to get better at illustrations of characters because they can be a little stiff, and I'm getting used to the idea that if I want to draw a purple girl, I can draw a purple girl. You know, it doesn't have to be these realistic standards, and that's been really, really fun, you know, coming up with these crazy hairstyles and different kinds of clothing for them to wear. This photo right here is actually of a turnip, and it was kind of, I don't want to, deformed is not the right word. It was just grown really odd and had some weird areas where it protruded, and to me, I saw a face So I drew it, and I tried to create kind of like a grumpy old man turnip, and I thought that was really, really funny. If you know what this scene is from, this picture right here, let me know in the description. I don't want to say it because I want to see if anybody has seen this movie. It is from a movie, I'll tell you that. One of my favorites. Right here is a little radish, and I turn him into another grumpy old man. It was really, really fun to paint. I used watercolor. This sketchbook actually takes fairly well to watercolor. It does warp the pages quite a bit, but I personally really like the look of that. And here's just some more illustrations that I've done. This rabbit was heavily inspired by Peter Rabbit, especially with the new movie coming out. I just love the illustrations of Peter Rabbit. I take a lot of my inspiration from my own illustrations from that. I love the line art and ink illustrations, and combining watercolor with that. I think that's my go-to style. That's the one that I love so much when it comes to watercolor. We are at the end of my sketchbook. It was definitely a challenge and definitely interesting filling up this sketchbook. I like that it's so many different components to it. All of the illustrations and styles are different, and I'm just really, really happy that I finally can say I finished the sketchbook, and I'm so excited to move on to my second one. But thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.